told them about what I was doing. They told me about what they were doing, and we figured out a way to work together. That's how Monee and I connected. And so it's very, very, very important that you guys network. Like when we're telling you to meet girls in here, it's not just because we want y'all to be bored. Like there's a method to that, right?
Yes, ma'am. And the greatest thing with network, you can never have a ceiling or a cap to where you're going. So when you network and you build relationship with others, you always have a support circle.
Correct. A community.
You always have a community,
Yeah.
someone's shoulder to lean on.
Yep.
And when you go through problems or new stages that you never been through, you're able to reach out to them so they can help pull you up or help navigate you through that process so you can keep going on your journey, and then you can teach your children or your other partners in the future or interns that, right?
Yeah.
So your network is going to be the number one most important thing, whether you have the finances or don't have the finances. If you have the network, everything else will flow.
I swear to God.
Yes.
Like I'm not even kidding. I had a text this morning from Ivania. Do you guys remember Ivania from yesterday?
Yeah.
She texted me this morning like, hey, I have a meeting. I wanted to, present your nonprofit to them, and I don't know these people, and when you build and network with people, it's kind of like you replicate yourself, right? You put yourself in more rooms than you're physically in. Like, I'm not in the meeting with her today, right? But she's going to be talking about my program. So that's the beauty of that. So y'all gonna hear me keep saying that, and I'm never gonna stop, because it's the cheat code to life, like in real life. So we Monee and I wanted to have a candid discussion about alopecia, because I think it's something that is taboo, right? I think it's something that can really affect a young woman's self-esteem. We know how important our hair is to us as African American women. So when you find yourself in those situations where you're having these issues with your hair and it's kind of out of your control, that can play a really big part in your self-esteem. So that's something that I thought was just like super important to kind of get across. So let's start off on the chat, girl.
Yes.
Okay. What's something people often get wrong about alopecia and other autoimmune diseases?
I think a lot of people downplay the severity of alopecia. I think a lot of people don't understand how it affects women, men, and children. And I think people underestimate what it can affect in life, whether that's financially, whether that's mentally, your self-esteem, right? Whether that's economically, or even when you're doing life big programs. Say you want to go to the Army or the Navy, you cannot, because alopecia is an autoimmune disease. A lot of people don't know that. You'll be denied. So it does affect you in major ways. I think that's how a lot of people, they misconstrue, the severity, and that this is something really huge that we need more support in so we can lower the rates of it.
Wow, I did not know that. So that's a deniable disease?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
You will not be allowed because it's an autoimmune disease.
Wow. And so, another thing that I've heard throughout this week is that most of the people that are developing products in the beauty space, they come from a need, right? You got into this space because you were suffering from a form of alopecia. And that's how most things start, right? You have a need, you have something that you want to fix, or you have something that you think can work better. And so you create something and develop it and bring it to market. And yeah, that's, wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, how do you help teens feel confident when they're dealing with hair loss from an autoimmune disease?
I would think one of my biggest ways is life coaching skills. So coaching them through how to migrate through rooms that they think they don't belong in when they actually do. Educating them on the power of themselves, knowing how powerful they are and what their red apples are, right?
They're what?
They're red apples.
Okay,
So
what is that?
For example, all of us in this room have red apples. We have something within us that is powerful, or something we've done that no one else has done. Whatever those things are that you can explain in less than 30 seconds, those are your red apples. So educating teenagers and young women, young men, right? Them knowing their red apples and that they are unique and they have powers and strengths that no one else has in this world always makes them feel more powerful. And I think the last thing is letting them know they have a strong support system. When they have leaders in the community that give back and pour into them, and that has accessibility where they can call at any time, that makes them feel a little bit more comfortable in whatever space they're in.
Yeah, and that's another important point. On Monday, I had someone come in from, I think her brand is like Mantra Movements, but she talked to the girls about, how to navigate through certain situations. And she taught them breathing techniques, stretching techniques, all of these different tools that can be used to combat and navigate through certain spaces. So you guys hear how, like, no matter who the speaker is, what they're talking about, like, it's all like common themes from everybody, because these are just foundation things, like it's life stuff. So it can transfer from industry to industry, regardless of what it is that you do. And I think that's really important, and something that I'm really big on implementing with the girls. Like, the science of beauty, okay, we definitely think that that's important, but I'm building leaders.
That's right.
That's right. Across the board. If you want to go into science, cool. If you want to go into something else, cool. But at the end of the day, do it boldly and do it as a leader. So that's the goal. Next question. Are there any new treatments or cool science discoveries that could help with alopecia?
There are several new treatments that they're pulling out, like the Lifula. Oh my God, there's so many I can't keep up, guys, honestly. But I'm holistic. I'm completely holistic. I don't believe in medicine. Now, I have partners that are in the medical, in medicine. And it can work with certain alopecia, not all. It's certain alopecias that can be maybe reduced by medicine, and then it's some where it's going to do the opposite. And especially if you have a chemically induced type of alopecia, when you take medicine for the alopecia, it's only going to make your hair fall out more. Or once you stop taking the medicine, it falls out after that. And that's why a lot of people don't understand, why is my hair falling out if I stop using this product? Typically, they have a chemically induced alopecia, and they typically should go the opposite route, which is holistic. So I think it can be done both ways for certain reasons, right? Another thing, I think knowing the type of alopecia you have and why you started experiencing hair loss can help you a lot in that journey. And also not hiding it, speaking up soon as it happens. to someone, whether that's your hairstylist, your trichologist, or someone. Speak up ASAP as soon as you notice it, because the earlier the better that it can be treated.
Okay, and that is actually a perfect segue into the next question. Does finding out about alopecia early make a difference in how well someone can manage it?
Yes, ma'am, certainly. The earlier the better. Like I experienced alopecia and I had bald spots all over my head. And I immediately started, you know what's crazy, y'all? The product, the Galantic Growth Oil, I was already making 8 to 10 years ago. I was growing thousands of people hair back, like a lot of clients. I have right now 365 clients. So over the years, it's been a lot of people. And they were begging me to make a product. They're like, when are you gonna bottle this product? They was telling me that I've been here 11 years. They've been telling me that like 8 years. And what made me finally bottle it, label it, sell it, all that, was because my hair fell out.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't have no choice. I have to, and I know I can grow it back. So, versus another product. And that's what pushed me to get it labeled. Have someone, how can I do this? Like reaching out to a team pretty much. And I labeled, bottled everything myself. And I make every bottle.
Oh, wow.
And literally, that's what pushed me though, because I had the bald spots, and I'm like, okay, now I need to have the bottles, and I'm gonna show them. I really, like, even myself is gonna be a survivor of this. Yeah. And 2 months later, my hair grew back.
Wow.
So early is key, and especially someone who is knowledgeable about healthy hair care. That's gonna be the second thing you look for.
Yeah. So early detection can play a big role
Certainly.
in the success.
Certainly, yes ma'am. Because once the hair follicle is dormant or dead, per se, it cannot be restored.
Oh, really?
Yes ma'am. So if your hair follicles is still active and alive,
You can stimulate it.
Exactly, and it can be restored. Anytime once it's dead, it would never be restored again.
So what kills a hair follicle?
Time.
Okay, so
Time.
that's why early
Time.
detection.
And that's why you see in seniors, things like that, time. And sometimes medicine can speed it up.
Wow.
So you gotta be very careful, especially if you have a chemically induced alopecia.
Okay. Time. So if you guys, it's like if you see something, say something,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
What
Even
is-
if it's small, even if it's a dime size or quarter size, because some people that have alopecia universalis, where they're bald on the entire body, it started really small. They didn't have like this huge bald spot, or they had a head full of hair, and it started small, and then their whole body just magically no hair. Which that's my grandmother. My mother and grandmother both have alopecia, so it's in my family. So that's why I'm so knowledgeable on it since before I was 8 years old. They have 2 different types. My mom have alopecia areata, where she has a spot and all the rest of her hair is long. And then my granny has alopecia universalis, where she's bald on the entire body. She had a head full of hair, you know, and it started really, really small. And she told her cosmetologist about it, but her cosmetologist was not, one, knowledgeable on alopecia or healthy hair care. And she told her, oh girl, it's small. You keep getting your extensions and it's gonna grow back. That was what she was advised when she went to her professional. So you have to be a self-advocate, whether you're in a doctor's office, a dermatology office, a dentist's office, whether they went to college and you didn't. You have to learn self-advocacy for yourself. And if you think, well, my hair didn't look like this and now it does, you know that it's a problem, there's something not right. And you need to get someone who is knowledgeable on how to help you. Because if that lady would have been knowledgeable or went a different approach, who knows?
Who knows what could have happened?
Exactly.
And how maybe it could have been prevented.
It could have been prevented, and she would have ran into hopefully a nutritionist or another medical professional where they would have noticed it's an autoimmune.
Right.
And once you start getting treated for autoimmune conditions, then your hair will grow back if the hair follicle's not dead. But a lot of people, when they're losing their hair, they don't take it as serious and notice, even with men. First thing when a man gets bald, he just shave his head, keep going about his life. He don't even know that's autoimmune.
Wow.
Or maybe another autoimmune disease that he has that's triggering the alopecia.
They gonna shave their head quick.
Quick. They don't even think.
About it. Wow. Now, when you were going through your slide, and you named the 12 different alopecias, you said one was from like tension, right?
Yes.
What is that?
That's traction alopecia.
So, can you talk about that? Because I'm looking around and a lot of the ladies have braids.
Yes, ma'am. Oh.
And braids are something that creates tension on your scalp.
Yes,
So can you talk about that one specifically?
Certainly, and actually a lot of women and young women are impacted by alopecia right now because of braids. Braids is one of the top reasons why you go through traction alopecia, braids and extensions. So having really tight braids or heavy braids and you have more of a finer type hair can cause you traction alopecia. Even the braiding hair, some of the braiding hair is giving you scalp irritation where it's now causing hair loss. So you have to be very careful making sure the hair is clean. The braider is a healthy hair care type of braider where you can tell her and advocate this, where this advocacy come in again in all levels of life. You have to advocate, hey, don't braid around my edges tight like that. Hey, I don't, I want it to look nice, but I don't want it tight like that. You have to speak up for yourself because if you don't, they will just continue to do this and not know the severity of what it's causing. And now once you're going through the hair loss, now you're stressed about it.
So that's causing more hair loss.
More hair loss and your mental health. And it's not worth that. Just to be beautiful. You can be beautiful and not trigger these factors. So you want to advocate for yourself and you want to make sure you're going to people who do practice healthy hair care, healthy scalp care, and who do want to add value to your beauty and value to your hair and health care, right? So I think that's really important when it comes to traction alopecia.
Now you got me thinking, because when you take your braids out, your hair is coming out. So much of your hair is coming out.
Your dead hair.
And then also, if you look on the hair, you see the follicles, the root on the hair.
Yes, ma'am.
So, wow.
I think, and if you are gonna wear braids, don't wear them a very long time. You know how some people wear them 3 months, 4 months. Even though they still look beautiful, things like that, don't do that. Wear it for 3 to 4 weeks because so much can happen in a month with your hair. You can get alopecia, you can get dermatitis. It can be anything that can happen with your lice. I mean, it can be anything happening in your hair with
Lice.
Yeah, if you another nationality, yes, you can get lice in your braids you don't even know. So a lot can happen in a month. Imagine someone trying to wear it 2-3 months. Mold. I have had clients come to me with mold in their hair and I gotta cut it out. Or I'm really good with it. So a lot of them don't have to cut all their hair out, but I know how to detangle it very well. I've spent 8 hours in a chair at a session getting mold out someone's hair and they still have their hair, thank God. So, things like that, these things can happen. Like, beauty is not just beauty. This is science. And that's when life science is so important for you to know and for you to have people who are educated and take their job very serious and their education serious, because things can go wrong. You can be pregnant and they do a color wrong on you. You can be pregnant and the weave of your braid extensions have something in it. A chemical, it can have lice, it can have anything. within just the braiding hair of where we don't know where it comes
Where
from,
it's
right?
stored at, yeah.
And someone put it in your head, and now you have an allergic reaction. And what does a cosmetologist do then if she's not knowledgeable on allergic reaction when it comes to scalp?
Right.
So you want to be very careful. These things can turn serious very quickly. And that's one thing I always educate my clients, students, the community. You know, we have to take this serious, our beauty, our health, and make it not just about looking pretty, but being pretty on the inside and taking care of our health as well.
Yeah. And I know yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a gentleman that came in, Dr. Boda, a tall gentleman, and he walked around and talked to some of you guys. And he's doing research now on braiding hair and the chemicals that are in the braiding hair, which makes it toxic. That's why he wanted to come by and see what you guys were doing in the lab. And hopefully some of you guys got an opportunity to talk to him and chat with him. But it's a really, really serious thing. Like, they're advocating for this in legislation, like Congress. It's a thing. And so, you know, we all want to look our best and things like that, but not at that cost. Not at the cost. The cost is too much, you know, and you don't want to get into a space where you're developing these lifelong, you know, diseases that you have to deal with for the rest of your life. And so, like Monee said, you know, you have to advocate for yourself. A lot of us go to the African, I used to wear braids all the time, and I would go to the African braiding people, and, you know, I'm thinking like, oh, she braided my hair so tight, it's gonna be beautiful, you know, not even realizing that she's destroying my hair, you know. And so that's something very, very important that I want you guys to think about. Like, speak up. If it's too tight, it's too tight, take it out. You know, and don't feel bad about it. Yeah, don't feel bad about it, because she gonna go on and braid 10 more people hair like that and go on about her business. And then you gonna wake up 3 weeks later and you ain't got no edges. So
And then what if they never grow back?
Because that's a real thing.
Devastating.
No, for sure.
Especially when you have beautiful long hair.
Yeah.
It's very devastating.
Yeah.
You know, when you think, oh, they're gonna come back, and now you're trying for 5 to 10 years trying to grow it back, and it doesn't.
5 to 10 years.
People be trying for 30 years trying to grow their hair back.
Gotten her hair back after 30 years, after one
50 years, 60. You know, people come to me and they 70, and they be like, can you please grow my hair back? And I'll be like, baby, we're gonna get you a real nice wig. We gonna make sure it's the color you want and everything.
Oh,
but
man.
like you, for real, they really want their hair back, and I understand, because I wanted my hair back.
You went through it.
Man, boy, I cried every day. And mind you, I was helping people with hair care. I had long, waist-length, long, natural, pretty hair. Man, I cried a lot. I thought I would be stronger because I'm in this seat. I'm seeing it. No, even me broke down. I just cried out of nowhere. This only happened like 3-4 years ago. It just happened.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Out of nowhere.
Literally, it was I say attraction or tension trigger, and then maybe stress. But it was one spot at first that was big, and then when that started growing back, it started spreading. That's when I knew it's because it's within my family. So I was like, oh my God, it's not good. But now, mind you, all my life I've been like, I had a perm or relaxer once as a teenager. Well, before teenager. And I haven't done it since then. So I've been natural since then. So I am like, I don't use chemicals at all on my hair. When it comes to shampoo, condition, soaps, I don't use chemicals at all. Like, I'm holistic for real. And when I say I don't color my hair, nothing. I think my hair grew back that fast, the way it was spreading, only because I had a holistic plate and palette. Yes. Because if I would have been doing all that color, all the weaves, all that stuff, I don't know if it would have been the same restore process for me.
I mean, I cut my hair off by choice, right? I could not imagine having to go through that in this day and age as a young Black woman. I mean, that just would have to really do something.
The kids,
yeah,
babies with this,
yeah.
y'all, they're 10, 11. They go to school and be picked on, bullied, all this stuff, and people make jokes about their heads, and they literally don't even know why. Their mom and dad has a head full of hair.
Yeah.
And
they can't
really
explain
hurts.
it. They can't even explain it to the child why it's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I really, really, really like, this is really important to me. This is really important to me. Like, I really wanted you guys to hear this because it's a real serious thing. And, you know, hair, skin, if you see anything on your skin, you start getting bruises or bumps and things on your skin that you don't know about, you have to say something to somebody because you never know what it is. And early detection, just like in anything, is paramount to the success of
even with cancer
recovery. Yeah. You don't want to find out you got cancer at stage 4. That's like you dead, basically. You know, you want to find out when it's stage 1. So, you know, look at your body, look at your skin, look at your hair. You know, if you see flakes, dry spots in your hair, you know, tell someone. Y'all on y'all phones all day, every day. Ask Google.
Yep.
I got a bald spot. I got a dry patch in my hair. What could that possibly mean?
That's right. Right.
So we have one more question, and then we'll open up the floor for questions. What's one piece of advice you would give to a teen who's just starting to deal with hair loss?
Number one advice will be don't stress.
Girl.
Don't stress about it.
That's a hard.
It's a hard request, but don't stress. Advocate and educate yourself in that moment, right? That's the second thing, and then go find a reputable person you can trust who is educated on whatever condition you're going through. And then you're gonna work at it each day. And I always say at the end, pray. Prayer changes a lot of things. I don't know if y'all believe, but whatever you believe in, pray and ask him, hey, change this. I want this and I need this. And you'll be surprised with a little bit of action behind it and having the right educated person in your corner. And those will be the 3 most best advice I would give. But don't stress, because stressing makes it worse.
Just stressing, it affects your skin. Yes. You know, you get breakouts, and now your hair is falling out. So we try not to do that. So, do we have any questions from the audience?
I love y'all so much.
Dr. Kane, I know you have one. Okay, Dr. Mencia, and then I'll come to y'all.
Good morning. Thank you for the talk. I came a little bit late, so I missed the 12th type of alopecia, but I can ask that later. Personally, I haven't gone through, but I have a first cousin that actually, when she was teenager, high school, going to college, actually happened. I think my belief is more hormonal and stress.
Yes.
We will explain that later. But right now she's wearing wigs because I think it could recover. Maybe you didn't know about this treatment. So thank you for all the research that you've been doing. And I know that you mentioned holistic and how when the follicle has been dead, it probably won't come back at all. But when you get the first signs that you're losing, what do you recommend until you get a good treatment, massaging to keep that follicle kind of not going there? How that works?
Yes, ma'am. Great question. So the question is, if you start experiencing hair loss, what should be something that you can do? The number one thing you do, stop using everything you're using. ASAP. Stop everything. Don't use shampoo, don't use conditioner, don't use the oil. Stop everything. You want to detox your body first. You're going to detox with an apple cider vinegar. You're going to drink it with water. You do that every day for 7 to 14 days. Don't use nothing else on your hair in that moment. Stop everything because you don't know what is triggering it. Then the second thing you're gonna do, you're gonna educate yourself. You're gonna start looking up, hey, what, I have a spot, this is happening, or this is this. You wanna self-advocate and educate yourself. The third thing, now you have some knowledge, you have a little bit of, okay, I know what I'm dealing with. This looks more like it. Okay, now I need to find someone who is reputable and knowledgeable on this. That will be your third thing. Those are the three most things you do soon as you see hair loss, whether you see a lump or anything. Those are three things you want to do. Stop using everything you are using, especially if it's not organic. Stop using it because you don't know where it's coming from yet. Because some people will experience hair loss and then they will start using more oil, or they'll start using another product. And it's like, no, you need to detox all of that. A clean slate, and then go find a professional who can help take you from step 1, 2, 3, 4 until the goal is hit.
Yeah, so thank you so much. I know I walked in, but when I heard her talking about the braiding hair, that is really a challenge. I'm Dr. Maxine Kane, by the way, with STEM Atlanta. And my daughter can also kind of share a little bit, but when they're applying the braiding hair, to your point, you talked about, was it you that talked about the chemicals in the braiding hair and how it's really causing a lot of damage because they don't really know where the hair is coming from. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because we do have a lot of girls in our network too that's experiencing that. It's causing a lot of skin issues, and the actual braiding hair relative to them doing it really tight is causing the hair to break off. My daughter experienced that, remember? She has now, all her hair is natural, and she went and got it braided, and it broke her hair off. And it took her a long time for it to grow back, and finally it did. So if you can share a little bit more about that, would be great.
Yes, ma'am. So some of your braiding hairs, you wanna ask, can it be pre-washed? Or, and some cosmetologists may give you a hard time about this if they're not like professional. But any professional cosmetologist and master cosmetologist will not have a problem doing that extra step because they know the client hair and scalp care comes first. And you being an advocate and you asking for that, if any professional doesn't want to take that extra step, you need to know that it's another person you can find because there's millions of us. And you want to find someone who's good and who practice healthy hair care and scalp care. So I would say pre-washing it. That way it can kind of, lower the chances of it being something that's irritable or maybe something living in it, right? Sometimes you may just be allergic to the hair too. And that you don't know until you wear it. So say you wear it one time and you kind of broke out and you're like, something not right. And then you do it again and it happened, just change the braiding hair. That's what you do in that case. Just use another braiding hair and see if that happens again. If it happens again, then this probably, I need to stay away from this, period, braids. If it doesn't happen, then that's the type of hair that you would prefer, and just tell your cosmetologist, hey, other hair does X, Y, and Z. So this is the hair I want to use this time, and it's for this reason. That way they at least have the knowledge to know. That way if they're using other hair on the side, you know how sometimes they have the hair already made and stretched. You don't want them using some other hair and then it's the one you brought to and they're trying to add in. They need to know these things, and that's all part of your self-advocacy. You want to make sure you are speaking up and you're just letting people know that extra little ha-ha moment about yourself, and then they can be able to help you better as well and be a better support to you.
Let me add
Another thing, like, just think about it, like the braiding hair is synthetic. So when anything is synthetic, that means that chemicals have been put on this product in order to sustain it, in order to preserve it. So anything that you get that's synthetic, you have to already know off rip is chemicals in it. Now, what chemicals are in it, we don't know. And so that just goes to, like she said, when you're using these products, if you start feeling irritation, if you start, seeing redness or flakiness and things like that, you have to take immediate reaction. And like I said, anything synthetic, you have to know that there's tons of chemicals in it. So we have time for a few more questions. So I'll get you, Queen.
What exactly do you mean by autoimmune?
Okay, so autoimmune is when the immune system has been attacked. So when you're going through alopecia is when the immune is attacking the hair follicle. So your immune is pretty much built up of, it helps everything, right? Run through everything. So your blood cells, your circulation and everything. You want a clean immune. And the reason why you want a clean immune because it is the direct portals to all disease, pretty much. So whether you get cancer, whether you lupus, alopecia, people have sickle cells, things like that, it's all because their immune is imbalanced. So you want to always make sure you're taking care of your immune, you're exercising, you're getting in the sun, right? The sun helps a lot. People don't know that. Just walking in the grass barefoot and receiving sun helps so much with your immune and your energy levels. Of course, vitamin D, we know that. But just, you want to make sure you're able to keep it at a balance. And a balance is a number 7 on the pH scale out of 14. When it's closer to 14, it's alkaline. When it's under 7, it's acidic. When it's 7, it's balanced. Anytime it's imbalanced, that's when you may have, some issues. Maybe you have, you're feeling more tired on this day. You're feeling more energetic on this day. Different mood swings, things of that nature all come from that. So just trying to keep it as balanced as you can, eating your fruits, your veggies, drinking a lot of water. If you have a hard time drinking water, add your favorite fruit to it. That's what I educate everyone. Just add whatever fruits you want to it that you really enjoy, and that will help you drink the water. And if it's cold, it's gonna taste great. So that will help you start drinking water. Get one of those canisters that's big and just carry it around with you and just sip throughout the day. No biggie. Don't make it pressure or stress, but just have it with you and drink and put your fruit in it. That helps so many people get over the I don't drink water thing, because water is the source of life. It is going to help your immune stay clean. It helps flush any toxins or anything negative or bad in your body. It helps flush that out. And when you don't drink water, it affects your hair, your skin, your mood, fertility, different things it just affects. So you want to make sure you're taking care of your body from within, just like you're doing it on the outside.
We have another question.
Good morning. My name is Brooke Spiva. My question was, knowing your work is medically funded and dominated in the medical field, how has your holistic review or view on medicine affected not only your career or your company? Because I know that like people hear that and probably thinking, what? Holistic? How have you, because you're obviously open about it and you're like, this is what I decide, this is my beliefs. How have you taken it upon yourself to make sure that you aren't strayed away from your own idea?
Very great question. Partnerships. I don't have to do everything. That's the beauty of this. So I specialize in a certain type of method of restoring the hair. Getting partners who specialize in another way of getting the hair is always golden. So I don't let it affect me, and I don't overstep or undervalue what medicine or other professionals bring on. I listen, I keep my ears open, and I support, and I let them know I support at a certain angle. Like when you don't have a chemically induced alopecia, I support. You know, I feel it can work, and it does have some chances of being restored. Now, if you have a certain type of alopecia where it's chemically induced or hereditarily, induced, things of those natures, I suggest you send your client to me. And that's just, how we do that. I haven't got to where it's truly affected my organization or myself just yet. I don't speak on it nationally when it comes to holistic, because it can be a very strong dynamic. But nationally, I don't speak on it as in on TV, media, things of that nature when I'm on there. But when it comes to our intimate settings, our groups, my clients, my patients, I do speak to them about it because it's great to be well-rounded. When you can know both, when you have advocates and professionals that know both, it helps you a lot, and you can help others as well when you're knowledgeable in both. So I think they can go hand in hand if you're able to explain to your partner or a leader who's only medical driven or medicine driven, I should say, when you're able to explain it to them in a way where it's not downing what they're doing, in a way where you can say, hey, we can put this puzzle together. This is the missing puzzle piece to what you're doing. This is the missing puzzle piece to what I'm doing. And this is how we can collaborate it and explain and knowledge and give knowledge to communities that way. I think that's how we've been doing it, more hand in hand, partnering, and just bouncing off the ideas from medicine to holistic medicine.
So one thing that she said that really stuck out to me is like partnerships, right? And I think I talked about that with you girls earlier on. Like, you don't have to know how to do everything. Like, I don't come from a STEM science background. So I lean on people like Dr. Mancia, I lean on people like Dr. Winfield, Dr. Maxine Kane, because they're specialists in their fields. So, just because you don't know everything, it doesn't mean that you can't put it together. And I think what Monee was trying to touch on was, it's just a respect thing, yes. Right? It's just a mutual respect thing. I respect what you do from a medicine side, and I expect you to respect what I do from a holistic side, because there's always a median where you can find to work together. And it's not about my way is better than your way or your way is better than my way. It's just a way.
Yes.
And everything doesn't work for everybody at the same time. So I just think it's more of a respect thing. So we have time for one more question. We're going to take Ava here.
Ava.
Hi. Your content creator.
Oh, really? I know, I love her. I have to hire her, girl.
I was wondering if you do have cancer and you are taking chemo, but you're trying to keep your hair follicles alive and trying to flush out those toxins, but you are taking chemo, how would you do that?
Black seed, raw black seed. It helps a lot when it comes to cancer. I've helped people cancer levels go to 0. I have a cancer survivor, Miss Robin, what is it? Her name is Miss Robin. Miss Robin had myeloma cancer, which is a bone cancer. And when she came to me, they were saying that she only had a certain amount of time to live. Miss Robin now she doesn't have cancer anymore.
Shout out to Miss Robin.
And she's 68 years old. We love that. She's 68 years old, and she's so energetic. She's actually one of our board members and a medical, she's retired from the medical industry as well. And Miss Robin used to come to my house. That's how close we got. She would come to my house. I would make her baths. I would make her teas. I would make her waters, her food, things of that nature. Give her black seed, all of this. And her doctor, it was so interesting. Her doctor was Grady, Dr. Bernard at Grady. He'd been there over 20 years. Very respected doctor in the community. That man picked up the phone and called me and said, "What you been having this lady do? Because this is unbelievable."
Right.
And he personally called me. And so you just have to know when you want to go either medicine or when you want to go holistic. You're gonna have to decide which one is best for you, right? Once you decide that, you have to be able to not stress and to listen to what the professional is telling you to do.
And trust the process.
And trust it. And if you trust it and do the steps and you add that little prayer, that little razzle, that prayer I told y'all about. I'm telling you, y'all hear me saying that? Y'all young, but you're gonna get like 21, you be like, oh, I see what they're talking about. Like, add that little prayer in there and keep hope alive and do things you love to do. When Miss Robin, she always wanted to travel, be a part of an organization. She always wanted to do all this stuff, and she didn't have her parents' support in doing it, and that's why she couldn't go to, it was a certain school she wanted to go to, but her mom wouldn't sign off on the document. And so when she met me, I was so full of energy. I was always traveling. Always, Miss Robin, let's go do this. We about to go do a walk with the mayor. We about to, girl, I got Miss Robin all types of stuff, y'all.
Miss Robin outside.
Swimming. I took her to Palm Beach with me when I won an award, the Chase Inc. I won the Top 100 Entreprenista Award by Chase. And it was at Palm Beach, PGA.
Oh, birthday fans.
Yeah, it was very nice. I took Miss Robin with me, girl. Then I went to New York. I sponsored Miss Robin to go. Everything she's been wanting to do, I literally take her with me to the Capitol. Everywhere, I take her with me. And we did a walk with the mayor. Literally, I take her everywhere with me, and she'd be like, oh my God. And now she walked faster than me, y'all. She be gone.
She's living her life.
She's living her best life. And I think when you start living for you and loving what you do on an everyday span, whether you have a lot of money or little money, it doesn't matter. We sometimes we didn't have all the money, and we were like, we're gonna pray.
You had the best time.
Man, we had the best time, y'all. I remember I had to fundraise just to do the PGA thing, y'all, because it was super expensive to attend the gala, get my award and everything. And I had to, we literally as a community had to fundraise so I can be able to go.
But that's the
And
part.
it worked out.
Yeah.
Yes, it worked out. We had sponsors, and then I sponsored Miss Robin to come with
Look
me.
at God. Be a blessing.
Yes, you
Be a
have to
blessing.
always give back and give to others who may need it more than you.
Yeah.
Right? Because in that space when she was undergoing cancer and all these things, it's like it can all come down on you in that moment. So when you have people around you or your network that's willing to reach out and say, hey girl, you're not going to be in that funk alone.
Right.
We're going to get you out of that. And we're going to help you. You know, and I stuck to my word, and literally she's cancer free right
That's
now.
amazing. Give
So
Miss Robin
that's what
give Miss Robin a hand of applause. So before we close out, I thought about another thing while you were talking. There was another form on the 12 that you had, and it was like you said from pulling, right? I take that as like you're in an altercation, you're in a fight with somebody, and someone pulls your hair, and they're pulling your hair out. Is that what that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that's under attraction. Sorry, that's under attraction, alopecia. I wonder if we can play the slide back.
Jane,
Can we get it? Perfect.
Thank you, babe.
So it's another word that they use as well with it. I know it too, guys. You know how you have that little part in her head, but that is really important because you can have your hair pulled, and that was one of mine.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I didn't say that part, but yeah. So, and that's how I had the one spot. But then it started spreading. And I'm like, of course, that's because it's within my family, hereditary, yes, so
that could have
it
been a
does its
catalyst.
own thing.
So that could have been a catalyst to it.
Definitely. But it started
Yeah.
from foot. And, but I didn't have all the bald spots. Yeah, it's trichotillomania. That's when you can have pulling of your hair or domestic violence or any of that such, right? And it can start in one area and then it can spread, which I didn't see the spread part coming, y'all. I was like, wait a minute. I started saying, oh, yeah, over here. I was like, what? But it's all going now, so thank God, and that little splash of prayer and that Galantic growth oil. And my mom, she used the Galantic growth oil, and all her hair's like right here. And her spot got smaller.
Wow.
Yes, it
Wow.
used to be like very wide where we couldn't even do certain styles, things of that nature. Now, full ponytail, we do little up, down looks, like all that. She was on the news speaking too regarding her alopecia journey and how it started from her wearing all different type of extensions in the 80s and 90s and hairpins.
Yeah.
Things like that. That's what triggered my mom alopecia. She was doing different updos and hairsprays, and they would use different hairpins,
bobby pins,
and bobby pins poking that area and just causing. So that's how she experienced her alopecia, and it was around when she was 28 years old.
This is crazy. So, I know y'all be watching TikTok, because I be on TikTok sometimes, and, I be seeing these girls, they fighting, they doing all these things, they grabbing hair, they pulling hair, like, no, we cannot get into that. So, before we wrap up, we have Lauren in the back. Lauren, come up here, Lauren, girl.
Yeah.
So Lauren, y'all give Lauren a round of applause. Y'all been seeing her around. So Lauren is Dr. Kane's daughter from STEM Atlanta. So Lauren, your mom put all your business in the street.
Tell your mom I want to meet her.
Yeah, she outside. So Lauren, would you mind sharing some things with the girls about what you experienced with your journey?
Of course. What's up? I know my mom put my business in the street. No, but I had got some braids, and similar to what you were talking about, I think it was a mix of, sometimes these stylists will put a lot of really harsh gels and things in your hair, one. And having that locked in your hair for long periods of time definitely will affect your scalp. And then the braiding hair. And so when I went, if you have fine hair, like I have a lot of fine hair. And so when you have fine hair and you have all of this synthetic braiding hair in your head, it's like really cutting up your hair. So by the time I took this braiding hair out, my hair's on the ground. Like, to get my hair, it took me at least about 2.5 years to grow my hair back.
Wow.
It was actually crazy. Like, my hair was thinned out. Like, it was actually ridiculous. So, Leah, I feel like you were at the house with me when I told you I was about to cry, trying to take these braids out of my hair. So, yeah, it definitely affected my hair. It took a long time for my hair to grow back. And so now I'm definitely more careful about the brands of braiding hair you're getting, making sure you're pre-washing your hair. You can do like a apple cider vinegar bath, all types of stuff. And especially now when you're doing like bolo and things like that, you can get like human braiding hair. It's a little bit more expensive, but it definitely won't affect your skin or your scalp. I've had reactions on my skin, all types of stuff. So she's definitely telling the right answer. Come here, Miss Fender. She's definitely telling the truth. I've had so many reactions, and then I've dealt with scalp psoriasis too. So that's definitely a thing. So what you're talking about with like losing your hair, like if you feel like you're dealing with like scalp psoriasis and dermatitis and things like that, definitely go see a dermatologist because it's not no joke. Your hair will be on the floor.
Hi y'all, I'm Aaliyah. I'm Lauren's little sister, and I am a victim of hair dye. Taking my hair out. I was just looking at pictures of my long hair last night. But hair dye is not nothing to play with. When you get addicted to it, you end up like me. So don't get me wrong.
Hair dye, what do you mean?
Hair
color.
Back in 2021, I dyed my hair red, and I just got like addicted to it because red is like one of those colors you have to maintain. And I just kept going, to the point where I ended up having to cut my hair like here, but my hair was here.
Her hair wasn't that long, I'm telling you,
Oh my God.
You wanna
She's
be
telling the
careful
truth.
with, especially with color care and having a professional that's really good with color care. We should have all got a picture
Yeah,
together.
we're gonna take some pictures out there. So that kind of concludes our guest speaker today. I hope you guys learned a lot. So you know, we always give our guests gifts, because those are the things we do, yes.
Beautiful.
So thank you so much for coming in.
Kindly.
We're gonna go outside and take a picture in front of the Step and Repeat with all the girls. Monee's gonna hang around for a little bit. We have a little time before lunch. So if you guys have any questions and you wanna talk to her or, you know, one-on-one, take a picture with her, anything like that, we'll be hanging out in the foyer. So you guys give Miss Monee another round of applause for her amazing presentation. I learned so much. I hope you guys learned a lot too about alopecia and how to spot it and things that you can do to combat it. So thank you, ladies. So let's all head out.